going, everybody? This is Chef Dominic Valenzuela, owner, operator, Dia de los Tacos. And this is the first episode of Let's Taco About It with Chef Dom, the podcast that aims to break down walls between the consumers and the passionate, hardworking people that aim to please them. Today I'm here with Marc Quinones, good friend of mine, great chef, and very excited to have him and ask him some questions. He's chef of the Hotel Andaluz. Marc, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, thanks for having me here. The first episode, so big honor to be here with you, somebody who I respect, and a big fan of yours and what you're doing here. So
thank you, brother.
Again, thanks for having me here today. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah. Oh, man, I appreciate you, man.
What was your question?
Just tell us a little bit about yourself. You know, where you're from. Kind of give us a little background of who you are.
I'm 37 years old.
Okay.
I was born in the Bronx in New York City.
Right.
I moved out here when I was 13.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was 18, I went back to New York.
Right.
Where I started working in real kitchens.
Okay.
When I was in high school, anyone knows me could tell you I worked at KFC. I worked at Taco Bell.
Right.
My first job was here at Wendy's and University.
Oh, wow.
Man.
That's why I see a lot of your posts, and you're frying up that bird still, man. You're still doing the fried chicken, so.
We want to talk about, the bottom or very humble beginnings. I'm sure that's all I've ever done is work in kitchens.
Right. Did you do any sports and stuff in high school?
Yeah, I played football, yeah.
Oh, nice, man.
Mm-hmm.
What position?
I was tailback.
Tailback. Oh, yeah. Sick, yeah. Yeah, the short yardage, or you the dude who dives into the end zone when.
I was pretty good.
Yeah.
I was pretty good when I was a freshman. I played varsity.
Okay.
All throughout, so.
Yeah.
I was pretty solid. When I was always growing up in New York playing football in the streets.
Okay.
So when I got out here and playing taco with pads on, it was kind of easy.
Yeah. Oh yeah, man. Playing taco out in the streets in New York, it's no joke,
And the snow and the ice, absolutely.
Oh heck yeah, man.
So I went back to New York City after high school, and I worked for a temp agency called Flick.
Okay.
And I would wake up in the Bronx at around 4:30 in the morning. It would take me about an hour and a half to get down to Manhattan.
Right.
So I'd get down there, and the agency that I was reporting to was on.
Sorry about that.
It was on 41st and Pershing Square.
Okay.
So I'd go in there, and they'd give you a piece of paper, and it would say, "All right, Mark, you're gonna go report to Chef Dom at Dia de los Tacos on San Mateo or whatever." So I'd have to get the subway map, figure out how to get to your spot.
Wow.
Show up, say, "Hey, I got this slip from the agency," and you'd be like, "All right, I need dishes. Go catch us up on dishes or whatever."
Yeah.
And I would do that, and I did that literally all over New York City, all the boroughs,
wow.
Jersey. One time they sent me to Connecticut on the PATH train.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of how I began to really learn about, real kitchens and how to be tough,
right?
And how to handle certain situations as they come at you.
So what was your inspiration to actually getting into food?
It's all I've ever known, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Being raised by my mom, we always, we were, times are humble.
Mm-hmm.
So we always had two things: we had music and we had food.
Right.
And we always got by.
Right.
Again, with good music and delicious food, and watching my mom prepare food all the time, and how she was always developing marinades and using vinegars and herbs and different spices and putting them together to rub into the chicken or the turkey wings or whatever she was doing.
Yeah.
I just always saw her just really getting her elbow into it and giving it such a flavor profile that you can smell it.
Yeah.
Whether I'm coming home from school or I'm playing football in the streets, I always smelled. I knew when it was time to eat. Everyone knew my mom put it down.
Oh yeah.
So that's it.
Yeah.
I was 8, and she would let me make my own turkey wings. That was my favorite thing to eat growing up was turkey wings.
Okay.
We'd go and get the package of wings, and they're big.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Monsters.
And I'd make the adobo marinade. Which is in its base form, it's just it's a mixture of garlic, salt, pepper, oregano, olive oil, and vinegar.
Okay, now that's a base for just any kind of adobo, or adobo means what is that?
Puerto Rican style.
Okay,
there's Filipino adobo, there's different styles. There's the Mexican adobo, but how we do it, or we call it more of another word for it is a molido or a mojo. Right. If you go to Cuba, so it just depends on where you're at.
Okay.
But it's just a basic marinade with those elements. I won't give you the ratios.
Right.
But that's just the base of it, right?
Yeah.
And to this very day, anybody will tell you in my kitchens, that's a big part of what we do.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of and I won't even put it on the menu. You know, it'll say whatever it is, and I put 3 or 4 components. You know, I write that. But it's those flavors, those rubs, those spices. There's notes on pretty much all of my sets.
Yeah,
I'm very proud of that.
No, that's awesome.
That, you said about the inspiration.
Yeah, that's like your final signature. You know,
that's where it comes from.
That's like that. It's that love, man. It's that love. It's what you know or whatever, and it's.
I just know I'm going to have a chance every time because the food, it tastes really good.
Yeah,
and it comes from an honest place in my heart.
Absolutely.
You know. Anyway, I can go on.
No, that's no, man. No, I can see, man. You fired.
You put the quarter in me, man, and I can just talk about those flavors.
No,
forever.
man, that's exactly why I wanted to have you. I know you would just take the mic and you just go off running with it, man. No, I think you're absolutely right, man. Just having that good kind of set base of flavors. I have my own, personal one too, and my history. My grandfather was Creole from Alabama, and
nice.
His mother actually taught my grandmother how to cook. She's my inspiration. So we have a lot of Creole recipes in there too, which is very close to like Puerto Rico and those islands, that Latin American kind of cluster over there. And so there are some definite similarities there. But yeah, there always has the base, the Trinity: onion, bell pepper, celery.
And what's awesome, what's special about that is that I think as we grow and we evolve as chefs, we educate ourselves and we go to the Johnson and Wales, look at the Cordon Bleus,
right?
And we learn those classic techniques, and then we have who we are, how we were trained,
right?
And then we learn more about what's happening in Asia or Eastern Europe, South America, and we say, oh wow, I can take something like curry, and I can add it to. I could mix it with some fresh oregano, just a little bit of vinegar. Wait, now it needs brown sugar. No, maybe some honey, or maybe a little squeeze of orange juice.
Exactly.
That's how that whole creative process begins.
Oh, absolutely, man. Absolutely, 100%.
And I think a lot of people they'll look at my food and it's just a pretty plate. Eat it, try it. Like I promise you, like I'm winning you over.
Yeah.
Like, and that's that dotted line that you take from the soul of a chef into what really nowadays in society it's you got to have good looking food to even have a chance.
Absolutely, 100%.
Because,
people eat with their eyes
first, and food is in now more than ever.
Yeah, and
it's so accessible.
Right.
I mean, from podcasts to Food Network to Bravo to Fox, there's just food everywhere, and everybody has an opinion. There's nothing more subjective than food, right?
Yeah.
I always tell people, you like mustard, I like ketchup. Who's right and who's wrong?
Yeah.
It's truly subjective.
Exactly. Yeah, one of the things I loved doing when I was at the sushi bar was actually just focusing on the customer that was in front of me, and not like you. I said it earlier. You're the chef of Hotel Andaluz. You got a lot of different mouths to feed. You got a lot of different people to please. When I was at the sushi bar, I just really enjoyed just focusing on that person who was across from me, finding out their dietary restrictions, what they liked and what they didn't like. Maybe they like spicy, maybe they like sweet, maybe they like this type of fish and this. I was able to make something custom for them. Just that one personal moment between me and them, which was really beautiful.
And the fact that you're able to do that and even think that way speaks to your training and where you come from. To be able to feel that confidence and you know what, I got you.
Yeah.
What do you like? Where do you come from? Okay, cool. Well then I'm going to hit you with this.
Yeah.
I think that's commendable because again, it speaks to your level of education and just your mental encyclopedia of ingredients,
right?
And how to grab. Oh wow, you're from the Ukraine. I got you.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna mix it with some of this, and I think that's when being a chef becomes really fun.
Right.
When you really feel confident in what you know, and you can pull from those countries or regions,
right? And
then bridge them together for something special for somebody.
Right.
That's
where you seem like a very confident guy. Like where did your confidence come from, or when did it hit you? Like that you felt like you got this.
I've always felt that way.
Yeah.
My mom put that into me. I grew up in Hunts Point in the South Bronx. It's things have changed now in New York. It's so gentrified and whatnot. It's a whole other conversation. But growing up there, in the 80s, early 90s, you got to kind of be organically tough regardless.
Right.
If not, you're going to have a hard time just kind of like, making it up and down the street. And that just was the reality. So, but again, like everybody always talked about my mom's cooking.
Mm-hmm.
You can smell it. Again, I'm not making this up, man. We'd be out. We'd be out. As a matter of fact, I came in contact with one of my old cousins who I still haven't seen him in person in like almost 30 years.
Right.
And now he's a professor at a big university back east. He's coming out here to do a documentary at UNM, and we're going to be doing something similar to this, but on video form. And the first thing he said was, "Man, I miss your mom's cooking."
Yeah.
And like I was like, what? That's what I'm trying to tell people. Like I grew up with that, just good. I knew that her food was the shit.
Yeah.
Right. It was off the chain. Excuse
Right.
my language, but that's just what it was.
Yeah.
And everyone respected her for her food, and I learned that.
Right.
So I know that I'm going to always have a chance to win or be in that conversation as one of the winners, just because of what's in my soul.
Right.
So it isn't necessarily confidence. It's just something that's in my DNA.
Yeah.
You know, so it isn't like a cocky, like confidence. It's more so like I believe. I have a lot of faith.
That's awesome.
In where I come from and how I was developed.
Right.
Mentally, physically, spiritually, from a food standpoint.
Yeah.
Food can be spiritual, it can be physical, it can be emotional, it can be all that.
Right.
You know, so again, I'm just convinced that I'm going to have a chance every time.
Right. This industry in particular, like, I mean, it's very heavy on the physical labor,
Yeah.
you know, and then the mental labor too, especially like, I can only imagine what you go through running that size of establishment with, how many crew members do you have under you?
37.
Yeah, 37 crew members. That's 37 people that you got to, like, you know, take care of it, make sure that they're getting their money, then take care of their personality, like, you know, kind of make sure that your fish bowl, if you will, like, kind of all gets along, you know, kind of the ecosystem going on there, that they all get to can work together. Yep. You know, and just not have any kind of major issues, you know, and then can not only do that, but get the job done, you know,
Yeah.
that you need done. So then you can focus on other things. So, yeah, a lot of people don't understand how many hands actually, like, touch their, like, go into, like, making it happen, making it seem so effortless, you know, and there's just a lot of planning that goes on. I'm sure, like, you know, how many, like, you probably, like, plan out menus days ahead or whatever, or plan out how this day's going to go. Like, you see it in your head already before you even execute.
For example, when I roll out my spring menu this month, when I roll it out, I already have notes written down about the first menu we're doing for the summer in mid-July.
Right, yeah.
That's already now, you know, not done, but that process, that idea is already, you know, pencil to paper in my pad in my office. So I try to be like what I say, half a menu out in advance.
Absolutely.
You know, where if I roll you out, then, you know, you're already halfway ready to go for, you know, the subsequent menu rollout.
Absolutely.
You mentioned my team. I'm happy you did, because anybody who I ever talk to, you know, I always make it a point, because this is very important, because it's just the fact.
Absolutely.
Right? To acknowledge, I mean, they really are the true nuts and bolts. And I know it sounds cliche or the right thing to say, and I'm not even here to bullshit you, man. That, like, the real talk is that they're the true heroes.
Right.
And I can tell you why. You know, the large core of my team, we've been together now for like 9 years.
Yeah.
Since when I was at Sandia up on the 9th floor. When I left there after almost 5 years to go to Santa Fe, and I took that leap from chef de cuisine to executive chef of a 4-diamond property. You know, I had some key players go with me.
Yeah.
And there's just no way in hell, Dom, that I'm sitting here today, or I have any success in Santa Fe without, you know, Chef Bernanke, you know, Najmi, Mark Anthony, you know, Berto. I mean, there's many others, Peter, that to this day they're with me at the Andaluz. And we have such a dialed-in format at this point, where I'll email Chef Bernanke the menu. I'll say, hey, great, this is, I'm done. This is the menu. And literally all I have to do is, let's say I send out an invite on Outlook for the tasting, because I do it in stages. I'll do a tasting for my kitchen crew a week before I do it for the wait staff.
Right.
That way they know what's going on before we even, you know, roll it out to anybody else.
Right.
So I'll say, great, Wednesday the 4th at 2 o'clock.
Right.
I'll get there at 1:45. I'll walk in the kitchen, and he already has all the components by dish on a sheet pan with the label of what the dish is and every component, and what he may think I'm going to want to be able to tweak things.
Yeah.
So I got this, chef, for you, plus I have 2 different sauces you might want to work with. here's some different herb options for you for this dish.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second dish.
Right.
Every single dish.
Wow.
You see what I'm... So I literally got to go, get the pans, cook it, plate it up one time. It's over.
Yeah.
And then what I do, the process is the following week, they roll it out to the wait staff.
Yeah.
And I'll talk about it in theory.
Right.
But that's how dialed in we are.
Yeah.
You know, and that's a testament to their dedication, their loyalty. Sometimes I joke when I go into work, I'm like, I can't believe you came back for more.
Yeah.
You know, because I can be so intense.
Yeah.
And I can be very aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
And it comes from a place of true care.
Absolutely.
And I think that anybody who's gotten the chance to really know me,
yeah.
they know that.
Uh-huh.
And they know that because they're stuck with me.
Right.
You know, I always say not everyone's going to make it.
Mm-hmm.
Some don't make it. Some have gone. Some have come back and gone and come back again.
Right.
But they're just so dedicated.
Yeah.
And I'm thankful because I don't know many chefs that could say, you know, my executive sous chef, we've been like this for almost 10 years.
Right.
You know, it's unheard of.
Right.
And I'm just so thankful.
Absolutely.
I'm so thankful to them. That's why I'm sitting here talking to you.
Oh, man.
You know, and
Nah,
I'm not even stressing about.
Yeah.
You know, I got an email about a pop-up banquet for tonight. I look at the email. Before I could read the first email, there's Bernanke going, got it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm blessed that way.
That's great.
So I want to put that out there because it's real and it's genuine.
Right. No, 100%, man. That's beautiful. One of the things that I always tell, you know, my team or whatever is, you know, we're gonna go through a lot of ups and downs, you know, but just understand, just keep showing up. We got to just stay the course and just be consistent. Just keep showing up. And there's something more that you're going to learn every day. Yeah. Like, I can't teach you everything in a day. You know, you got these young culinary kids. They want to come out and they just show me something. Show me the cool things to do, you know, especially when it comes to learning sushi. It just doesn't work that way. You know, you got to just put in your time. And it's really just a gradual climb up, you know, and just learning
dude. You know,
every day.
I always tell the young kids that come into my kitchen and they want to learn, I'm like, learn how to endure.
Yeah. There you go. Wow.
Like, learn how to endure. Like learn your station. I want to see it written down. I want to see your notepad. You know, I want to see everything that you have. You know, and talk to me in like 9 months.
Right.
Don't. And again, it's not about like I don't want to nurture you or teach you or coach you. Is the right way to do it? It's to make sure that you know what you're doing better than anybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
Day in and day out. Learn how to endure.
Right.
And then we'll talk about the next station. And then we'll talk about how banquets work.
Right.
And then maybe you can do a lunch special.
Right.
And then perhaps maybe, you know, I'll take you to an event with me.
Right.
You know, but I'm very again, I'm not difficult. I just know how hard this really is.
Well, you know, like I'm sure, like in the beginning, you're probably like me, and like you know, you're the nice guy or whatever. But then you realize how many people you have to sift through in order to find that one gem. You know, like the team that you have now. I'm sure that you had to sift through a lot of people and just a lot of headaches, a lot of stress, and so you're just like fed up with it. So it's like the way I tell people now is like, if it's not for you, it's not for you. We'll shake hands. You go the other way. You know what I'm saying? But this is how it needs to be done.
And it's always, and kind of like we haven't talked about it yet, but like running, and you know they say focus on the mile that you're in. Right. If you're gonna run 26.2 miles, you don't worry about mile 20. You still got to, you know, if you're on mile 3, worry about mile 3. Yeah. You know, breathe through that. Same thing with cooking. You know, if I got you on hot apps, you know, and you've been doing it for 3 months, you might feel you understand it. You might feel you know it, but I know that you don't really know it the way you should yet. Right. You know, it's called the test of time. Absolutely. You know, show me that you're in this for the right reasons. You know, and again, I always say, do as I do, not as I say. Yeah. You know, I will never ask anybody to do something that I will not do or have not done. In a way worse scenario. Yeah. You know,
this is why I got you for the podcast, man, because I know you're like my brother from another mother, man. Like we speak the same language, and you're just right there on point with everything I do. You know, that's why I'm, you know, over here at Dia de los Tacos, I do it all by myself right now. You know, I am the one-man team. You know, but again, like I wouldn't ask anybody to do anything if I wouldn't do it myself. So right now we're in the beginning stages, you know, and so I'm doing everything. But now I know how to teach somebody else how to do that, you know, which is very important as you, you know. Every restaurant, you know, they're all different. They're all different environments, you know, and you have different tools at your disposal, you know. So you got to really know that first before you can show somebody else how to do it and how to do it properly, you know, and be most efficient in doing it. You know,
one of the things this was back when I was working up at Bien Sure at Sandia, and you can ask that crew every single day I was on the pass, and almost like I was manic about it. Right. I had to control every single final plate. Um, I would get very angry, and it was just it was beating me down, and it took years to like get out of that and be able to like work in Chef Bernanke and allow him to kind of like sign off on things to get things out and let things go.
Yeah.
That took a long time, and now, I'm really vested in. You met my sous chef Billy,
Mm-hmm.
right? So he's the sous chef. He reports to Chef Steve, who's Chef Bernanke.
Yeah.
But I actually personally, you'll see me, him and I together, way more than you see me and Bernanke together.
Yeah. Yeah.
Me and Bernanke don't even got to talk. We just know.
Yeah.
It's almost like we can speak mentally without even saying anything out of our mouth.
Absolutely.
So my goal now is to get Chef Billy, to the executive chef level.
Right.
So now I've learned to say, hey, chef, guess what? It's your line tonight.
Yeah.
Oh, you're in the weeds. Well, here's a couple tips how to get out of it. But you got it.
Mm-hmm.
Run this line tonight. Run that team tonight.
Right.
Have fun. And I've learned how to really let go of what I fought so hard to hang on to.
Yeah.
And I've learned that I feel more free as a result.
Mm-hmm.
I'm more creative.
Yeah.
We're executing, and I have enough guys with enough tenure that it's the food's pretty consistent.
Right.
We're not perfect. I have this saying at the restaurant. Hey guys, y'all ain't that good. We ain't that good yet.
Yeah.
We haven't accomplished anything.
Mm-hmm.
I have this it's on the line approach every day.
Yeah.
And they're bought in.
Yeah, I think that's one of the beautiful things about New Mexico. What brought me back too is like just the humbleness about it. Like, I was out there in California, and it's very showy. People just saying like, "Oh, I can do this, I can do that," or whatever. But Albuquerque is like one of those places where you gotta put up. Yeah.
It's so funny you mention that. I do a lot of consulting work out in California. Out of respect for what I do out here, I'm not going to say where.
Yeah.
But people know I go out there every month.
Yeah.
And I deal with teams. I have a team out there. And I tell them, I always say, I'm like, man, my Albuquerque boys will whoop y'all's ass.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, y'all think y'all in Cali and you got skill? I go, y'all. And I tell them, and I'm like, it's a lot of talk.
Right.
And again, it's, I think you're right. There's a lot of showmanship going on, flashiness going on. But if you're like us and you've really been through it, I can figure it out in about, 10 seconds.
Exactly.
I just know by looking at you.
Yeah.
I can tell how you hold that spoon.
Yeah.
How you grab that pan.
Right.
Or don't grab the pan right. I already know.
Yeah.
So it's like, I look for let's peel some layers back.
Yeah.
Let's open that book a little bit.
Right.
And I'll tell you.
So you always invite, like when you hire on a new applicant or whatever, do you bring them in for a stage?
Sometimes we do.
Yeah.
Again, now I'm really all about, I'll tell Chef Bernanke and Chef Billy, what do you think?
Right. A stage, by the way, is kind of a trial for not only the employer but the future employee or whatever to kind of see if they
Exactly.
like it and just kind of see how they work. Is what I see. I would bring in stages, and just like you said, just right off the bat, you can kind of tell if they're gonna fit in your kitchen or not. And I'd be honest with people. After being the nice guy for so long, that you're just like, you know what, I can just see the way that you're moving that you're not going to catch on to this that quick, and I need somebody just a little quicker, and so.
It's really about transparency,
Yeah.
And I've learned to be very brutally honest up front,
Yeah.
So like, I'll paint the worst case scenario
Uh-huh.
for an applicant. I say, hey, like, you're going to work this one station for at least, that's my rule, for at least 9 months.
Mm-hmm.
Unless something happens, an act of God or something like that, or somebody's really sick. I said, this is what you're going to be doing. I said, you're not going to be involved in creating specials, or you're going to be doing this one thing. Show me you can do that, and then again, we'll talk.
Yeah.
But now I say it up front.
Yeah.
Just really let them know, hey, like just because, you see whatever on social media or on TV or you read something, like you're coming in to do this particular, to be a role player.
Right.
And take a lot of pride in that.
Right.
Play your role, do your job, do it with pride.
Right.
And then when you get past a certain time frame that we establish, we'll move you up or we'll move you around or we'll show you different things. But I have to know that you're going to buy in to because it's not mine, it's our philosophy.
Right.
That we have spent many years now, almost 10 years, developing and evolving.
Right.
So I'm very protective of that.
That's beautiful, man.
And if I feel like you're not going to be in it long term, then, I'd be happy to have you on that station for until you decide you're sick of it or whatever.
Right.
You know, but if you, it's all about your character.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I always tell people cooking's the easy part.
Yeah.
Cooking's it's, an egg is an egg is an egg, and
Mm-hmm.
we can argue all day long about, how to cook this pheasant breast.
Right.
But do you have character?
Mm-hmm.
When no one's looking, what are you speaking?
Yeah.
When no one's looking, how are you cooking? That's what defines you, as a chef.
Right.
It's your character.
Absolutely.
Not the Instagram post.
Yeah.
Not any of that.
Yeah.
Not talking bad about the guy next to you or this guy or that guy. It's what's in your heart. And when no one's looking or no one's there to defend themselves, what are you saying?
Mm-hmm.
I think those are those defining moments of character that I can always tell how far someone's going to go.
Right.
I've seen some tremendously, I'm talking outstandingly, just gifted, talented cooks.
Right.
I won't use the word chef because that's, again, chef has a lot to do with character.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've seen raw talented. I'm not here to say anybody names.
Mm-hmm.
Guys that just got it figured out.
Yeah.
They can cook and it's like a no-brainer.
Mm-hmm.
Character isn't there.
Right.
I can't get with
that's not that. They're not able to make that next jump into.
I can't get with that.
Right.
Good luck. Say what you want to say about me. That's fine.
Right.
That doesn't define me.
Right.
And it's real though. It's tough because people don't understand how tough it is.
Absolutely.
We talked about endure.
Mm-hmm.
You and I met 12 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny because we have similar thought process, and now we're relatively successful.
Yeah.
We're doing all right.
Right.
And I think we have some of those common character traits in place.
Absolutely.
And I've seen it from coast to coast.
Mm-hmm.
That's for me. What separates a cook from a chef is character.
Yeah.
And I feel like any true chef friend that I have anywhere in this world,
Mm-hmm.
we have that in common.
Yeah.
And the ones who I've met that perhaps were even more naturally gifted than me 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
They're on that hamster wheel of insanity.
Right.
And it's just funny. It's almost sad because you can't teach character.
Yeah.
You talked about your family.
Mm-hmm.
I spoke about my family.
Right.
I think that helps to hone your character, and I think you can. It's not just in the chef industry. I think it's in any industry.
Absolutely.
I think the common the parallels between people who are successful, they tend to have certain character traits that they share, and I've seen that as I've been blessed to meet many successful people in different industries
Mm-hmm.
through what I do. It's that common thread that we tend to share.
Right. Yeah, I think you said it beautifully right there, man. And what you look for in endurance, and people that can endure, like everybody just wants to look at the highlights, or the beautiful plate, which you create beautiful art, by the way, which I want to get into. But they just look at that and they just want to do that. And it's like, this tells a story.
And then you tell them, because that's what I get upset about.
Yeah.
Then you tell them, hey, man, don't worry about that right now. Then you're hating on them.
Yeah.
Nah, you just hating on me. You don't want to see me do my thing. And I'm like, no, dude, you're getting paid to do this. And if you can do that over a sustained amount of time, we can talk about these things.
Exactly.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I always tell people, I'm like, I was 30. I was 30 years old, 30.
Yeah.
The first time I got any kind of press in anything, and it was a little quarter-page snippet in Albuquerque, the magazine. Thank you, Laurel. Thank you, Gina.
Right.
For that. But I was 30 years old when I first got that.
Wow.
So what does that tell you? That I had spent many, many, many years just doing my job.
Mm-hmm.
Then
you got thrown a bone.
Yeah. And I never even worried about that.
Yeah.
When I got my first job in 1997 or something like that. I'm 15 years old. And I don't know about you, but in 97, I didn't know about any chefs anywhere.
Right.
I just knew that I liked to cook.
Right.
When I went to New York back in 2000 as a temp dishwasher, I couldn't tell you one celebrity chef.
Mm-hmm.
That's not what I was doing it because that's just what I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell them now, like, no, man, believe it or not, we're not hating on you. We're not trying to block your shine.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to teach you what it really takes.
Right.
By just enduring and persevering and learning how to build character. And, I always tell people, hey, chef, my station's on point tonight.
Right.
I'm killing it. Wonderful. What about your teammate?
Yeah.
If you're good to go, your mise en place is done, what about the guy next to you? Help him.
Yeah.
Oh, you're done early? You cleaned up? Wonderful. Go help the dishwasher.
Right.
Did the dishwasher eat tonight?
Yeah.
Feed him. Like, those are the things that are going to impress me.
Absolutely.
Right? Not I'm the fastest guy, because at the end of the day, if we're going to get down to the brass tacks of it, you're cooking my food.
Yeah.
I created the dish.
Absolutely.
So that's wonderful. I'm happy you can execute my dish.
Right.
But can you help your teammate get out of the weeds?
Exactly.
Have you fed your dishwashers? Those are the lessons that I talked about a lot.
Exactly.
Almost so I'm blue in the face.
Yeah.
It probably turns many people off. That's okay.
Yeah.
Those that understand will endure, and they understand the thought process behind it, and that's how you realize sustained success.
And for somebody like me, who's a brother in arms with you, is just I feel like I can confide in you in that in that sense, because I'm going through that. I go through that too, and like all the chefs out here that are on the same path or whatever, it's great to. That's why I loved coming back here or whatever, is because I knew there was chefs like you, real strong, passionate chefs that I can confide in, and that will help get me to that next level, because I want to surround myself with those kind of chefs or whatever, and those kind of people, to help see what level I can get to. You know what I'm saying?
And you're the kind of guy, you have the character, not to mention your food is just delicious. I mean, again, that's just that's a fact.
Right.
No one's gonna sit here and argue about that. Your food is fantastic.
Right.
But you have character. You're personable. You're animated. You're a people person. You're everything that I like to see in a great chef. And I feel like, I always aspire to be that way. It's I want people to understand that at the end of the day, we're not saving lives.
Right.
My wife does it. My wife's a nurse.
Right.
We're cooking food, and what an honor. I joke. I say a joke at work because I can't believe we get paid for this.
Right.
We should be in jail for grand larceny for taking paychecks.
Absolutely.
Because we're getting paid to feed people.
Absolutely, man.
That's why some of my desserts, I tend to be playful with desserts, and I try to end it on a note where, we don't take ourselves that serious.
Right.
We're feeding you, we're nourishing you, and there's that fun element to what we do as well, which I think is important, and you embody that, and I think that's it's awesome. That's why if there's anything that I can ever do in any capacity, no matter how small it is,
right,
just to throw you a helping hand, you got it, man.
That's
because
awesome.
We need more people like yourself that do it for the people.
Absolutely. You got to keep reaching back, pull somebody up.
Yeah.
Pull somebody else up with you, and
absolutely,
and that's great, man. That's exactly why I came back and to give back to this city, the city that raised me, the city that molded me, I'm blessed to be here with you, man. I wanted to talk about your plating and you have some of the most beautiful plates that I've ever seen. Like your artistic style of plating is like so beautiful. Like, did you grow up as like an artist, like drawing and stuff like that?
No, believe it or not, I have horrible penmanship.
Yeah.
I have horrible penmanship.
Yeah.
As through the process of going through the ranks from dishwashing to banquet prep, and I'm not even exaggerating. I've always looked at like the line cooks and like how they plate the food and the chefs do specials. To me, it was almost like watching my favorite football player ever, Dan Marino, throw a touchdown pass.
Yeah.
A thing of beauty.
Right.
And I watched a lot.
Right.
I just watched a lot.
Mm-hmm.
When I was younger, particularly back in New York, I was that guy who would stay late, not get paid, just to watch.
Yeah.
And it was like, to me, it was like magic.
Yeah.
So when I had an opportunity to start developing specials, when I moved to Scottsdale and I was working at Eagle Mountain, I felt like I had ideas because I had watched a lot. When I left New York, I was doing some elite banquet stuff, so I kind of felt like I had some things that I had a chance not to be able to showcase.
Right.
And I've just always, when I look at that plate, I'm just very respectful of the plate.
Right.
And I have this idea, and I want to make it beautiful, especially because I know how good it's going to taste.
Yeah.
Because of the flavors that I feel like I introduced to, whether it be a vegetable or a piece of meat,
absolutely,
a potato.
There was one dish that I remember that in particular you did one where it was like taste of spring or something, and you had like shishito peppers kind of laid out, like every ingredient was kind of like laid out, right?
Yeah,
You remember that one? And then wasn't there like a blue sauce on there or something? Was there? I remember there being like some sort of like blue gel or some sort of sauce. Maybe I'm wrong.
There's been a couple times that we've done. I've done the blueberry gel.
Okay, blueberry.
With I've done it with elk.
Oh, nice.
I've done it with lamb.
Yeah.
I mean, right now we're doing a pickled blueberry demi.
Oh, wow.
With, that's just phenomenal.
Yeah.
Just
bringing those. Just bringing those.
Are you wondering how I got it blue?
Maybe.
Well, I mean, there's a couple of ways to go about doing it. But really, it's you learn about those refined techniques, and how to use 3 or 4 different powders to get a different reaction.
Oh, okay.
How acidity plays into that.
Yeah.
There's 1,000 ways to do it. But the plating of the dish, though, anybody who's ever worked with me or for me will tell you this. I don't even know what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
Until I walk into the kitchen for plating.
Awesome. Absolutely.
I've always done it that way.
Yeah.
I just don't know I don't know. When I have the components in front of me, that's when I do it. And I take a lot of pride in that.
Yeah.
That's something that I have fun doing. And it tests myself, where I'm able to prove to myself, I have the dish thought out, and now it's time to plate, and I put it together. And a lot of the times, I'm able to nail it on the first time.
A lot of that, plays off of emotions, which changes daily, and just kind of the vibrations that you're going through or whatever.
It's funny you mention that. We just did a photo shoot last Friday.
Yeah.
And we did 14 dishes.
Yeah.
And I got the pictures back. I'll show them to you when we're done here.
Yeah, yeah.
I got the pictures back from Joshua yesterday.
Oh, wow.
And I'm going, oh, wow, I did that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And they're like, yeah, you were just in the zone.
Yeah, yeah.
And because I don't like to do 2 or 3 takes. I want that plate to capture whatever was in my heart, on my mind.
Absolutely.
In that moment. It is what it is.
Yeah.
So,
just the raw and organic, and this is me. This is what I'm feeling. Here it is. Just boom. Just kind of riffing.
And let me tell you, many times, it probably looks like crap, and that's all right. But I go with it. I let it happen organically.
Right.
And I back away, and that's what we're gonna go with.
Right.
And then I think sometimes, we'll roll a menu out, and then 3 weeks in, I might be able to say, after seeing the dish go out 80 times, we're going to tighten this up.
Right.
Or we're going to strain the sauce one more time. Or, if it needs to be more redder, go grab this cherry or go grab that and puree it with this, cool it down, add it to that. And again, that's how you're able to make colors,
right.
Shine or dull out. Sometimes you want to have a duller color, more of a matte color.
Right.
But again, all those finite details just come with years in and years out of constantly researching and studying other chefs. Yesterday at the local Hero Awards, when I was talking and I got my award, the first thing I said was I acknowledged who was in the room, because again, it's about being real. Chef Marc Quinones sitting in the room, right? A local hero, best chef Santa Fe. Josh Gerwin, best restaurant Santa Fe, a gastropub, Dr. Foodgoods.
Right.
Those are 2 chefs that when I got out here in 2007, when I met you, and I'm trying to find my way, I was looking at what they were doing.
Yeah.
I'm looking at Marc Quinones' menu at the compound. When Josh was at Casa Vieja, I'm like, what is he doing? Yeah. And on my date nights, we would go to the restaurants. So I have no problem saying, I look at people who I think are better than me.
Yeah.
And I look at them in an admirable way, like, wow, you're better than me. I'm going to study you. And I'm being inspired by what you're doing.
Right.
And I've done that now, and I have a library in my house with over 1,000 books in it. Right. I mean, literally. Wow. I have wall-to-wall books. You pick a country, I can tell you a book that I have, the chef, where he's from, what he's doing, why he's doing it. Right. I may not be even read, because some of them are from Asia. Right. And they're in Japanese. Right. And I can't read the print, but I'm looking at the picture and I'm drawn. Wow. Yeah. Or I'm reading Fabiken from Magnus Nielsen in Sweden. Right. And I'm just so blown away by what he's doing. Right. That I'm inspired, and I draw from that. Absolutely. And I don't have a problem saying that. I'm inspired by greatness, and I want to. If you're better than me, wonderful. I honor you. I want to get to know you. Right. I want to know how you think, because I want to figure out if I can take away 1% of what you know and somehow integrate that and warp it into what I do,
Right.
well, then you helped me. You taught me.
Right.
And I'm just very thankful to all those chefs out there that have inspired me to go buy their literature, to stalk them on YouTube, to look at their social media, to eat at the restaurants when I travel. When I went to Chicago last time, I finally went to the Publican. And, if you know about the Publican, there's not an award they don't have. They're there, many of them.
Right.
And I ate the food, and I was like, holy shit, Lisa. I get it.
Yeah.
I'm tasting all these flavors, and the food is so beautiful, but it tasted even better. And I'm like, that's the ticket. Like I know that I feel like I'm almost like eating food that I would cook.
Yeah.
And I'm just kind of like, wow. Once again, like you go to one of these world-renowned restaurants and you actually eat the food that looks so beautiful.
Right.
And you immediately get it.
Yeah.
And to me, that is magic.
Right. I think that's you said it beautifully, and another reason why I wanted to come help, support you guys and everybody out here, because we do come from humble beginnings, so we do need we need that balance of praise too, where it's due. We don't need people to hate on it. You know what I'm saying? Like, we got to have respect, mutual respect as chefs when somebody's doing something good, to help boost us up, because that boost carries us over into the next day, which hopefully keeps us motivated and positive to be able to, when that opportunity comes along, to put out a cookbook or whatever, and showcase ourselves that we're able to do so, and do it confidently, so then we can continue to inspire and continue passing on what's been given to us. I'm looking forward for the day that when your cookbook comes out, and seeing all the beautiful art just in one place, because it's amazing. I'm imagining when you say you have 1,000 cookbooks, I'm imagining, more than 1,000 cookbooks. I'm imagining, like, you got your walk-in closet and it's all cookbooks, and then you got your ladies and it's all shoes, and then you guys, like, she's got her shoe budget for the month or for the week or whatever, then you got your.
That's funny. We have
you got your cookbook budget.
So we share the walk-in closet, but I have a man cave.
Oh, nice.
And my man cave it has two themes.
Yeah.
Culinary and Miami Dolphins.
Oh, sick.
So Lisa and the boys, actually, for Father's Day a few years back, they made me these bookshelves that are handcrafted, and they're Miami Dolphin colors.
Oh, that's awesome.
And they're just stocked with my books.
Yeah.
Anyone's been to my house, they're like, they just lost in my man cave looking at the books that I got.
Yeah.
I don't go on Amazon. I buy from a place called Kitchen Arts and Letters in Manhattan. Okay. And man, they have everything.
Yeah.
And I've learned how to find, those books that are, I don't even know how to, and that's okay. I don't even want to know how to read it. Right. I just want to look at it and, like, just be somehow spiritually drawn to what that chef did.
Absolutely.
And I've also learned how to translate now and figure the recipe out and look at it. Mm-hmm. But again, it's just about, no one knows it all. I tell people all the time, I don't know shit. Mm-hmm. I'm
still got a long way to go.
And I have that approach every day.
Yeah.
And I really believe that that's a huge factor in the success that I have realized.
Absolutely.
Is I'm never not pursuing further education, or looking at somebody, again, who is leagues better than me, and first and foremost, acknowledging that they're better than me. Right. And studying them. Mm-hmm. I'm always self-educating myself, and then passing that on to the staff.
So you won best chef, voted best chef Albuquerque by Edible. Is that right? Edible magazine.
Yeah, Edible New Mexico.
Edible New Mexico. Last year you won best chef of New Mexico by the
NMRA.
NMRA.
Yeah.
So once you win an accolade like that, then what's next for you? Like, what?
I don't go out to win these accolades, to be honest with you. Uh-huh. I do a lot of work. Just a lot of work in the community. Yeah. I'm a big believer in that. I don't have to go post every time I help somebody. Mm-hmm. I don't like that. Yeah. I think that's exploitation in many ways. Mm-hmm. I think sometimes it's actually self-serving. Mm-hmm. So I don't always go out there, and talk about exactly what I'm doing. I do a lot. Yeah. I'm talking like, going into halfway houses, going into the prisons. Yeah. And doing work like that. Mm-hmm. And helping those in real need. And a lot of things that I do, I'm sure you hear about. I do it because I want to help. Yeah. A lot of people, a lot of things have gone my way.
Right.
A lot of people have been critical in my development, and I just want to be able to help. So, those, winning Chef of the Year last year, what was special, because I had no idea what was going to happen.
Yeah.
That night, when you go and they said my name, I was just blown away. Winning Local Hero Best Chef, again, which is really an award about the community.
Yeah.
It's special because, it means that a state that I'm so passionate about, being New Mexico.
Yeah.
When I really started cooking here back in 2007, they've really embraced me. They've supported the restaurants that I've worked at. And I think when it's time to recognize their favorites, I tend to pop up a lot.
Yeah.
And I'm thankful because really what I do is just I just want to feed them.
Yeah.
I want them to enjoy what I'm doing, and I want to be out there and helping those in need as much as I possibly can. I will say yes every single time, and then I get I'll go back and I'll just do it routinely. So the awards are great. And I'm very, very, very humble and thankful. But they're really about the community.
Yeah.
It's the community's award.
Absolutely.
They're just speaking what's on their mind.
Right.
And again, between the community and the team that I work for, that works for me, that's the ticket. My loving family. Going on 10 years of marriage now.
Right.
I've never got my balls busted about me having to work too much.
Yeah.
Or me say, hey, you know what? On my day off, I'm going to go help out this organization. Or I'm going to go cook over here for these people. And let me tell you, the majority of those things doesn't come with any extra pay or anything. It's above and beyond what you're doing. And the support that I get at home, it puts me in a spot where, I can be spread out more.
Yeah.
And do those things. And I'm very thankful for that.
Absolutely. I mean, I think that's amazing, man, to have somebody in your life like that. Because, I wanted to touch on that about relationships in the industry and like how there's a lot of, it's like a high turnover, like a divorce and breakups and stuff like that because of how much we work and how focused we are. And to have somebody who understands what we're going through is very hard to find. Like, how did you find Lisa?
We met when I first came out. I was 13 years old.
Oh, yeah? Oh, no way.
Right here at Washington Middle School.
Oh, wow.
And we were really good friends.
Yeah.
We're really good friends. I had the biggest crush on her.
Yeah.
I still do.
Oh, my God.
And I went to Albuquerque High. She went to Rio Grande. And we knew each other. We had went on different paths in life. And when I was in Hawaii, that's why I came back. Dom.
Yeah.
I was in Hawaii. I'm working out there for a small little French bistro on Kona.
Yeah.
And her and I are talking on MySpace. And I was just like, I wanted in.
Yeah.
And I came back to New Mexico. And I got back here in April of 2007.
Wow.
And as you all know, that you were in the first kitchen that I worked in when I came back. And the road, that's what I was saying. I just wish people would look behind, I always try to tell people, don't forget social media, forget the magazines.
Yeah.
Because that's not even like that's all happened as a result of compounded year in and year out. But there's so much more to me.
Yeah.
And
all you got to do is ask.
Yeah.
All you got to do is ask.
Don't assume and ask.
Yeah.
And if you don't ask and you assume, well, then you know what? Shame on you.
Exactly.
But if you just sit with me and you ask, then I'll tell you. But I mean, if you just assume, then I'm not even gonna talk to you.
So one of the things that I hated being asked when I was out in California is like, what are you? Like they wanted to know what ethnicity I was. I would say I'm New Mexican. And then they're like, so you're Mexican. And then it just the question alone is like they want to label you. Like, like I feel like it's very labeling. And I'm like, don't worry about what I am. Just ask me. Just talk to me. Just talk to me about anything, or whatever. Because I'm more complex than whatever you want to label me as. Like there is no label that can define me. You know what I'm saying? And so the only thing that can break that down is just a conversation. You actually getting to know me and seeing what I'm about. Because I have a lot of different things that contributed to building me to who I am. When you were out in Hawaii, I didn't know you were out in Hawaii. I was out in Honolulu, probably after, definitely not at the same time you were there, but like they thought I was a local there. They thought,
I can see that.
yeah,
I can see that.
yeah. They definitely, like, I was getting talked to, like I was getting asked by tourists, hey, how do you get here? How do you? I'm like, I have no
Your guess
idea.
is as good as mine.
I have no idea. Like, what's up with your accent, brah? Why you talk so funny, brah? I'm like, I'm not, I'm not from here. What was your experience like out there?
Interesting.
Yeah.
I was on Kona, which is
Okay.
not Oahu.
Yeah.
It's a country.
Right.
So it was I met some really really cool people.
Mhm.
I got to know a whole lot more than I ever thought I knew about fish.
Yeah.
That was exciting.
Mhm.
And again, different spices and ways how to integrate their ingredients to what I do. So I'm thankful for that. But I gotta tell you, it was tough because it's country.
Yeah.
And at least where I was working at and what the chef and owner was trying to do, it was really hard to get a team together that was all bought in.
Right.
'Cause at the time, I don't know about now, but Kona had one of the lowest unemployment rates in the country.
Oh wow.
And it had like the highest high school dropout rate.
Oh wow.
So if you do the math on that,
Yeah.
So basically the mentality that I experienced was, well then, screw you, I'll go walk across the street and work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then, so it's just, I always tell people, my personal experience in the whole beautiful country, beautiful people. The working experience was challenging.
Yeah. Yeah. My experience, I saw a lot of similarities of the culture and like the pride in culture, the people, and they're so proud of their food and everything out there. And kind of how everybody is family. It reminded me a lot about Albuquerque, and then also that it's kind of like a melting pot in its own way, where it has all these influences that have come but then quickly gone. So like somebody has come and sprinkled something and then left. And so they're.
I remember my neighbor. The first time I ever had kampachi.
Yeah.
Which is like, what a fish.
Yeah.
I never knew what it was.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this is Kona kampachi. He tells me, and he has it wrapped in foil on the grill. And he kept like poking holes in the foil and like just like dousing it with like this shoyu and like fresh lime.
Yeah.
And the fish was just delicious, man.
Yeah.
And he would take it out of that foil and then he'd kiss it on the grill, and the fish would come out kind of mangled.
Yeah.
Because it was just the way he had it wrapped up, and it was just kind of like a labor of love thing.
Yeah. Right.
But we put it in your mouth, and I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Like, and again, just learning those little techniques and those nuances about cooking was pretty awesome. That was cool. Yeah, the culture out there and the people of the island, special.
Right. Absolutely. We talked a little bit about music. What what music do you listen to in the kitchen? I personally know, but you gotta let everybody else know.
Salsa music.
Yeah, of course, man.
Being Puerto Rican, salsa music I'm kind of known for listening to. That's what I love. It's in my blood.
I personally remember when we were at Whiskey, and you actually used your neck as a drum, and you was la 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 ba ba.
Yeah.
And I carry that with me, that memory with me for so long or whatever. But you're absolutely right, man. Like listening to music in the kitchen. Over here, I listen to lowrider oldies, or funk music. I can listen to James Brown.
Yeah.
James Brown was the first concert that I ever went to out here, the very first concert that I ever went to. And funk plays a lot in my food or whatever, in my style. It's very just I riff. It's just there's no, like how you said, you just go in and you just cook. Like the same thing. I just know what I can do, and I'm just gonna go in there and do it. And then just the different elements of the day. The stuff that I have no control over, I'm just gonna just bounce back off of that. And just kind of use it to my advantage. And that's what makes your food so delicious and so vibrant and so beautiful. And just tells a story of your food. Which is another reason I think when you come out with a cookbook, it's got to come with like a CD, and you play it. And you play it while you you listen to the CD while you go through the book, man. Because I think it's gonna really pick it up. Hell yeah, man. So Any thoughts of ever like opening up just your own personal spot or like?
Yeah, absolutely. No rush.
Yeah.
No rush at all. I have a great job, and again, I like stability. I like how we're able to evolve and be hyper seasonal, and have such an influence in the community statewide. I really enjoy that.
Yeah.
And as I've grown and I've taken on a lot of consulting work on the side, I almost feel like I know too much. I'm like an insider.
Yeah.
And I know how hard it is. I know how small the margins are.
Yeah.
And having a family, having 3 boys, they come first.
Yeah, absolutely.
And their lifestyle comes first before mine. So I feel like when that time is right, God will bestow it upon me.
Right.
If that's what's in the cards for me.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to chase it.
Right.
I'm not going to take a sloppy risk to do it, because there's bigger things at stake.
Right.
Again, that's the livelihood of my 3 boys and my wife.
Right.
And I'm okay with that.
Absolutely.
But do I have some plans? Yeah. Of course. And I've many gracious people have offered to get behind me and all that, but it's just not time yet.
Absolutely. No, I definitely respect that a whole lot. And that's one element that I don't have is the family aspect. I'm solo, and so that's kind of how I'm able to just kind of like just pick up and do something. Just kind of hustle and grind or whatever. But you're absolutely right. Something stable, especially when you have that much invested and at stake. You definitely want something like that. I know personally, I've seen other chefs, and how they get beat down by the monotony of things like that, and that they're you almost see them like dying inside of like they need something, some sort of spark, what would you say to them about like how to cope with, kind of how it can be of, dealing with that size of staff and, serving that many people, and kind of those expectations that come with a position like you have?
Wow, that's a very, very tough
sorry.
question.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't.
That's a deep one.
Yeah.
Again, because I know how blessed that I've been.
Yeah.
And it hasn't come without struggles.
Mm-hmm.
Many, I mean, insane amount of struggles. But I will say this. The advice that I would give them is to it's not to be controversial, but I'm going to say, are you doing it for the right reasons?
Mm-hmm.
Because if you are, you shouldn't be almost dying.
Yeah.
You should be able to find some kind of peace within that chaos.
Right. Absolutely.
That you're experiencing. And that's a deep question, but that's, again, I dug deep for that answer because that's just the truth. I know, on my, heck, I remember when I was in Santa Fe,
Mm-hmm.
And Christ, exec chef of the Inn of Spa Loretto for a historic property. Boy, was I so thankful for the time I spent up there. But I'd be honest with you, I was commuting every day.
Yeah.
I live in the South Valley. It was 73.5 miles.
Wow.
People just think, oh, Santa Fe, 45 minutes. Well, depending on where you're at.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it was an hour and 15 each way, minimum.
Yeah.
That's with no traffic. So that amongst just the size of the job, the expectations of running a property of that, prestige, can really, you can have very tough days.
Yeah.
And sometimes the drive back down that hill was challenging, and you really having to dig deep to find your why.
Right.
But I was always able to find my why right away.
Yeah.
And talk myself off that ledge.
Yeah.
And look at my phone, and see a picture of my, my family.
Right. Constant reminders.
Of where I come from.
Mm-hmm.
Smelling my mom's food. Reminding myself, wow, like today I happened to cook for the Huffington Post today or something like
right.
that. Or last month, or I'm going to be traveling to New York to cook on Food Network next month, or just different things like that. That I would say, you know what, it ain't that bad, man.
Right.
And I always just went back to my whys, my whys, plural, because there's more than just one.
Right.
And that's the advice that I would give them: is find your why. Because if you're that beat up, and And again, not to be tough, but again, that's just how I am.
Yeah.
It's, look in the mirror.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you in that situation?
Right.
What's the thought process at? That's what I tend to be a problem solver.
Yeah.
Especially doing consulting work a lot.
Right.
Is well, let me see your menus.
Yeah.
Who's on your staff? When was your last menu rollout? Did you run a special? I mean, like, what are you doing to water your own grass?
Right. Yeah.
To keep yourself fresh.
Mm-hmm.
I would probably ask probing questions to figure out why they're in that state of despair.
Right. That's awesome, man. No, that was a great answer, man. And exactly what I was looking for. Absolutely. We all got to find kind of just that happiness in just the everyday, like happiness is free, and it's just a state of mind of what you want to put yourself into, and you really need to, ask yourself what makes you happy. And
energy is a choice.
Yeah. And it like that negativity or whatever that you have or whatever and that you're holding on to, that can be contagious and kind of toxic to whatever other family environment or work environment that you have. So it's best to just get out of that if that's what the issue is. You got to find where the cancer is and clip it, and get yourself to a happy place, so we can just continue to build others up around us, and keep a positive world.
What's helped me out a lot with that, Don, to be honest with you, is the running now.
Yeah.
It has really taught me to slow down and to really be more analytical.
Yeah.
To be more thoughtful, and again to pull that mirror out.
Yeah.
And look at myself and saying, are you doing enough?
Yeah.
What more can you do? What can you do differently?
Right.
I think those are critical. And again, as you get older, for me, being 37 years old now, I can tell you, your health, your physical state is. I mean, that's probably more important than anything.
Absolutely.
Give yourself a chance.
Yeah.
Because if you have all these bad habits, and you're not really fit, and then you were having to work 67 hours a week,
Yeah.
well, then you know what? I can tell you exactly why you're in that state.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Drink more water. Let's start with that. I mean, I know it sounds funny, but like it's true.
It's so true. Very true, man. Very true. Plays a huge part. So I wanted to get into maybe a quick little like lightning round with you. Just kind of ask you a couple questions or whatever, and you just give me the first answer that comes to your mind. Let's see. So what would you say is your artistic style slash message through your food? Like, is there a direction that you're going with it, like fine dining, or just what's your message that every plate has?
Fresh, be fresh.
Be fresh.
And that can mean so many different things, right? Be seasonal, be in the moment. Fresh could be getting out of the shower.
Okay.
Just I like to use that word fresh.
Right.
Be fresh and be spontaneous.
There you go. Who's your favorite chef?
Alex Atala, from Brazil.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah, great chef, man. Yeah.
Got his cookbook, DOM.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's insane. This guy out there is doing his own thing.
Yeah.
I mean, he's going into the jungle. Yeah. Anyway, him and Magnus Nielsen up in northern Sweden,
right,
in 5 weekend, are just two guys that I look at as, really guys that are just. I mean, there's a box, and they're like so far away from that box that you can't even find them.
Absolutely.
And I love that.
Absolutely. What's your favorite piece of kitchen equipment?
The spoon. The spoon, because it's just a spoon's an opportunity.
Okay.
From plating to cooking to basting to tasting, directing.
Right.
Dancing. A spoon. So much can happen with a spoon in your hand.
Right. Absolutely. Okay, I dig that. What's the funniest complaint you ever received from a guest?
Well, when I was in Australia, this is how it came out, and I'm going, well, that's wonderful, and I want to make you happy. And I think I made Australia up. You pick a country, but you know what I'm trying to say.
Uh-huh.
I'm not that guy in Hong Kong that's
right,
giving you noodles today. This is my rendition. And I do want to add to that. I want to add a caveat to that, is that I'm all about the guest. And trust me, I am. We are all about the guest experience. It starts and ends with them.
Absolutely.
Period.
Right.
But to answer your question, I'm always like, I hear that, and I'm like, I'm in the back of my mind, I'm laughing, and I'm going, well, we are so far away from Tokyo.
Yeah.
Or whatever. I mean, but I got you. I'll try this differently, or what can I get you?
Right.
I never ever get irritated by guest requests.
Right. That's great. I had one guest say, "Yeah, my calamari tastes like squid," and I I was like, "Well, I don't know how to answer that."
I'll
Like,
tell you what.
true?
Not to sidebar. You know what pisses me off though, is when I go in a restaurant, and it'll say, "Please, no substitutions," and I'm going, "Holy shit, you're that good."
Yeah.
You are just the cow that eats the cabbage.
Yeah.
That you gotta tell them that you got it all figured out. That they can't say, "Can I have this or have that?"
Right.
Shame on you.
Yeah.
That's always been offensive to me.
Mm-hmm.
I always say, if this is my menu, I tried really hard, but if you don't want that and you want spaghetti and meatballs, I got you.
Yeah. Yeah.
You want eggs, for dinner, I got you. Like,
Yeah.
let's take care of you. Because again, what did I say earlier? Food is subjective.
Mm-hmm.
There's there's no one who's right and no one who's wrong. Period.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And you gotta put the guest first. If they made a choice to go into your restaurant, who the hell are you? I mean, come on.
Yeah. Yeah.
They drove there, they parked their car, they walked in, they sat down,
Mm-hmm.
and they just asked you if they can sub out the Brussels sprouts for the asparagus.
Yeah.
Like, why is that offending you?
Right.
Get off your high horse.
Exactly.
I'm sorry,
cook
man,
them
but
the best
that really
asparagus,
gets
yeah.
under my skin.
Yeah.
Is chefs that have that thought process.
Absolutely.
Check yourself. You ain't that good, bro.
Right. No, I think that's great. So what do you cook better than anybody else in Albuquerque?
Oh man, I don't think I'm better than anybody.
If you had to, though.
I know, but really, I mean, I would say, because again, competing is so, and I've done a lot of competing. Right. It's circumstantial.
Mm-hmm.
Circumstances playing to, and the subjectivity of it.
Right.
You just never know how it's going to go.
Right.
But what I will say is this: there's a couple of things that I feel like would be really tough to beat.
Okay.
My pork belly dish.
Yeah.
Which I've had now with me for 9 years.
Mm-hmm.
Every menu I've had, that's a signature dish on the menu.
Right.
The Chilean sea bass that we do.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm gonna say, if there's one thing though, I would say I would wish you all the luck in the world, putting out a better dish of mine than my patatas bravas. My Spanish fiery potatoes. The way we confit them, the way we cool them down, the way we fortify it, the way we fry it again, and then we hit it with the aromatics. I would wish you a lot of luck in putting out a better dish than that. Right. If it's just potatoes. Right. And I love that. It's a menu. It's a $6 item on my menu. Right. But I raise the most hell, and anyone will tell you at the hotel, over those potatoes. Oh yeah. I do believe that the little things define a chef's true skill set. Absolutely. And the respect he has for ingredients. Absolutely. The humble potato.
Very much. Yeah. Very much so, man. I was actually going to bring that one up because when I went to your restaurant, I had those potatoes and they were so amazing, man. I just wanted another bowl of them. I just want that with everything, Like you got to bring those over to like a Super Bowl party or something, And then of course, red or green.
Oh wow, red.
Red chili. And who has the best red chili here in Albuquerque or New Mexico? I mean, you've been up in Santa Fe.
God, the best red chili. It gotta be. Oof, man. I don't want to offend anybody. A lot of friends out there, The very best red chili that I've ever had, and I'm just gonna be honest about it here. It is what it is. Yeah. El Paragua en Española.
Oh, okay. El Paragua.
They're the parent company of El Parasol, the taco shop.
Oh yeah.
And gosh,
those are some amazing tacos.
Amazing, and they do what they do. They're not innovative like you are, and you're ever changing. They're classic. This is what we do.
Oh no, absolutely.
But the red chili at Paragua out there that I had, it was like, put it this way, I always thought that I had an idea of what New Mexican food was. Right. I feel like I'm trained on it. I understand it. I've cooked with it, and then I ate at El Paragua in Española, and I felt like I was just taken to school. Right. On what New Mexican cuisine really is. Oh wow. And I will always give them. I would take my hat off and just get on my knees and say, "You are the best."
And that's El Paragua.
Yeah, Paragua.
B-A-R-R.
No, P-A-R.
Oh, Paragua. Paragua. Yeah. Okay, nice.
P-A-R-A-G-U-A.
You guys heard it here. El Paragua in Española.
And anything on their menu is just ridiculous.
I'm going there.
Their flavors, the way their techniques. Yeah, wow. I kind of want to get in my car now and to drive up there because
Yeah,
it's worth every mile you drive, man.
that's what's up.
It's unbelievable.
That's awesome. Well, I definitely don't want to keep you. This has been an amazing conversation. I know, we could keep going and keep going,
sure.
and so we'll save that for another episode. But this is the Let's Taco About It podcast. So, of course, we got to bring tacos up. If you were a taco, what kind of taco would you be?
You mean the ingredients that would be in a taco?
Yeah. Or, like
I'd be a fried chicken taco.
a fried chicken taco.
Yeah.
Okay, nice.
And they'll probably have different ideas of what I would do, but definitely be a fried chicken taco.
Okay, awesome. Well, me and you, we're gonna get in the kitchen. We're gonna cook up
right.
cook up a little taco. What I'd like to do is then to feature that taco on the menu for the week, and I want to give all the proceeds to a charity of your choice. Do you know which charity you have in mind?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Young Children's Health Center.
Young Children's Health Center.
Yep.
You got it, bud. So we're gonna record that, and you guys can probably catch that on YouTube soon after this airs. But yeah, me and Mark, we're done talking. Time to get to cooking. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you, Mark, for being a guest, man. This has been a lot of fun. So inspirational and so inspiring. I'm blessed to have you as a friend.
Likewise,
and
man.
as a brother in arms, man.
Big fan of yours.
Yes, sir. Thank you, brother. Thank you.